Hey, what's up, everyone? You are listening or watching the My Comic Book Journey podcast. I'm your host, KNDY, and today's topic is The Savage Dragon, issue number 1. Let me go ahead and open this one up here. So, the creator, the writer, penciler, inker is Erik Larsen, the letterer, Chris Eliopoulos, colorist Steve Oliff, Reuben, Micka, and editor was Jannie, Wong. With color separations by Abel Mouton, Kiko Taganashi, Tracy Anderson, Squeaky Zendel, Quinn Suppley, Pat Stratton, Jordan, Emily Jordan, Denise Bain, Kathy Enos, Marie and Olioptics. Film output Tony Kelly and Kel O Graphics. So this is back in June 1993. So let's go ahead and talk about this issue here. Okay, so as you probably have seen my previous reviews of the limited series of there were just 3 issues. We learned that at the end of this is spoiler alert, by the way. So hopefully you've read the mini series by now. But if you haven't, you may want to skip over this episode. Okay, with the end of the 3rd issue, we learned that Lieutenant Frank Darling, the police officer who found Savage Dragon and actually got him a job to become a cop, well, something happened. He's getting blackmailed by criminals. So, what is going on? This issue actually does that. It goes into what happened and why Lieutenant Frank Darling is trying to not get the dragon involved in any crime-stopping, high-risk cases. So it begins with the Savage Dragon fighting with this villain, like a rat villain known as the Shrew, who has been killing innocent people, slaughtering them with his razor sharp claws. And during the first fight with Savage Dragon, the Shrew actually won that one. No matter how many punches Savage Dragon got in, Shrew kept on slicing his face and torso and everything. And while Savage Dragon could heal, he's pretty much all bandaged up. And but we know that there's Savage Dragon's going through a lot right now. He's lost his girlfriend in a explosion in his apartment, of all things. And also the person that he was close with, Lieutenant Frank Darling, has been acting weird and not even getting Savage Dragon involved in any crime fighting type of cases. He's been sent to take on cases that are the way he looks at it. Savage Dragon says, okay, crime was so bad in Chicago, and the reason why he was brought in was to take on these super villains. But he's not doing that. I mean, with the Shrew, yeah, he's fighting the Shrew, but these major ones, he's not been involved, and he's getting really tired of it. So we learned that Frank Darling, what happened was when he found the Savage Dragon, he wanted and asked him and tried to get him to become a cop, but it didn't happen. So what happened was that his cousin, Fred, Lieutenant Darling's cousin, Fred, he tried to do a setup where he arranged for freaks to threaten Fred, and he figured that if Dragon saw what was going on with Fred, he would go out and save him and become a cop. Well, the warehouse, the villains ended up blowing up the warehouse, killing Fred, and with Dragon wanting revenge, he then joined the police force. But obviously, there some supervillains knew about Lieutenant Frank Darling's plot, and now is planning to blackmail him. And so now, that was their blackmail, that he follows their lead, and he does not let Savage Dragon do anything that would disrupt their criminal activities. And already the Savage Dragon is having enough of it. In fact, he's really down and out, and I think the villains, maybe the word has gotten out that Savage Dragon is not going to be going after them, so they start to antagonize him, and he is the last person anyone wants to mess with. There is a panel that with looks like a double suicide or a suicide attempt, but we don't see anything on that issue. On that panel, we don't know what that one's all about. As for Dragon, he gets to see the shrew again, and then you get to see part 2 of that battle. So there's actually another battle, the third battle, and this is with Ricochet, and I believe the other one is Barbaric. So those two, they would become, they're looking for jobs, and they would hope to help the Savage Dragon out, but what happens, and this leads to a spin-off from the Savage Dragon called Freak Force. And Freak Force is a group of heroes similar to the Avengers, but more like West Coast Avengers, or more like X-Force or X-Factor, actually, from the Marvel, where they're heroes for hire. So I think I know Erik Larsen had a lot to do with that. There was like 16 issues, and there was also a mini-series on that. Didn't last as long as Savage Dragon, as a lot of those characters would be featured in the Savage Dragon series. But this is probably the first appearance that you will see of Ricochet and Barbaric, but also a fight between, it wasn't long. I'm not gonna, I'll say that right now. It wasn't the longest fight, but I think if anything is that this is an action-packed issue, especially knowing, the details of what is going on with Lieutenant Frank Darling. But also, I think if anything, that battle between the Savage Dragon and Shrew was awesome. Again, this is the Savage Dragon I loved reading. You don't get to see that much of Savage Dragon. It's a different character now. It's his son Malcolm. But yeah, it's a side of Savage Dragon that I enjoyed back when Larsen started the series, and he got me captivated for additional 200 plus issues. So that's how much I love this series. For the most part, the Savage Dragon issue 1, you can still find it. It was $1.95, well priced, but definitely check it out. It's a really solid. It's a pretty good issue, damn good issue actually, and it's quite kind of interesting to see the goatee that Savage Dragon is sporting, and some people making fun of him, saying he looks like someone from the Village People. So that was really interesting. But if anything, this was a good issue, and I definitely recommend it. So okay, everyone, Savage Dragon issue number 1, Erik Larsen. You all take care, and I'll see you later. Wink wink.